We live in a noisy world, where the fast pace and external expectations dictate our actions. But what if I told you that true transformation doesn't lie in frantic movement, but in stillness? That the power to change your life, find peace, and even achieve lasting success lies in learning to listen to what's within you, rather than getting lost in the external chaos? Silence, so often underestimated, carries a profound strength, capable of bringing mental clarity, self-control, and a clearer vision of our true purpose. In this video, we'll explore how silence can be the key to unlocking a more balanced, focused, and successful life. Are you ready to discover how stillness can change your life forever? Before we begin, leave a comment with a phrase that resonated with you so far. I want to know what's stirring within you, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to keep learning. Now let's dive into the transformative power of silence. We live in a world where noise is constant, from phone notifications to the incessant chatter of thoughts in our minds. Anxiety often feeds on this chaos, fueling our restlessness and preventing us from finding rest. But what would happen if you simply stopped? Silence, when sought consciously, becomes a powerful antidote to anxiety. By quieting the turmoil around you and, more importantly, silencing your own thoughts, you create space for what truly matters: the present. What would your life be like if, instead of following the frenetic flow of daily life, you took a step back and allowed yourself to experience silence? Perhaps the answer to your greatest concerns lies precisely in the absence of words. Silence is not a void, but a presence. It's not an empty space, but a fertile ground where inner peace can flourish. When you allow yourself to embrace this stillness, a transformation begins to take place. The mind, often lost in a maze of worries, finds clarity. Like a river that, when interrupted, begins to flow gently, silence halts the mental race and brings tranquility. But it's not enough to seek only physical silence. The true power lies in inner silence, when you learn to cultivate mental calm with each breath. This often overlooked practice can free you from the pressure that anxiety imposes. Silence is not just a pause between one thought and another, but the key to a new way of living. If you're willing to invest time in stillness, you'll find that upon returning to your daily routine, anxiety will no longer dictate your decisions. You'll begin to see the world around you with new, more attentive, and serene eyes. The practice of silence, as a form of self-care, translates into a state of peace that doesn't depend on external circumstances, but on your ability to calm your mind and find emotional balance. And perhaps at that moment you'll ask yourself, what more can silence offer? Have you ever stopped to think about how much we're bombarded with information all the time? News, opinions, tasks, messages. It's as if we're constantly absorbing stimuli. And amidst all this noise, our creativity often feels stifled. Silence, on the other hand, acts as a balm that relieves this mental overload. When you allow yourself mental rest, the chaos of scattered ideas begins to organize. This moment of stillness offers a unique opportunity for the mind to process what it has learned, connect seemingly unrelated dots, and generate new ideas. It's no coincidence that great insights often arise during moments of silence, when we're alone with our thoughts. Silence, then, is not just the absence of noise, but the presence of space for the mind to expand and renew. It's curious how true creativity often comes from a quiet place, not from the constant noise of ideas and comparisons. When the mind finds tranquility, it frees itself from external pressure and begins to tap into a deeper source of inspiration. This process is much more than a simple moment of pause. It's a dive into your own mind, where clarity begins to take shape, like a painting without interruptions. When you train the art of staying silent, you discover that true creativity doesn't need noise. It just needs space. a space that silence provides effortlessly, opening pathways to new solutions and perspectives. For those seeking mental clarity, the practice of silence is essential. In silence, ideas align, thoughts organize, and the mind becomes sharper, more focused. Silence allows you to reconnect with your intuition, that quiet knowledge we all possess but rarely give space to flourish. It's also crucial for making more assertive decisions, free from the external influences that often make us doubt our own wisdom. Imagine for a moment that by dedicating yourself to silence, you're not just seeking rest, but expanding your ability to see what was previously clouded. And perhaps you'll realize that by silencing the world, you begin to hear your own mind more clearly. In a world where we're constantly influenced by external voices, be it from the media, friends, family, or even our own inner critic, the true power lies in learning to listen to our own voice. Inner silence is the path to this deep, transformative listening. When you withdraw from constant noise, whether external or internal, you begin to perceive a wisdom that has always been there, but is often drowned out. In silence, you connect with your essence, your intuition. The art of listening to yourself doesn't require words, but an attentive and receptive presence. This is the starting point for a life more aligned with your true purpose. Listening to yourself is not an easy exercise. It requires patience, practice, and above all, courage to face your own fears, desires, and insecurities. Often, what you hear will be uncomfortable because the inner voice isn't shaped by the world's expectations, but by your deepest truth. However, it's in this silence that you find the strength to live according to what truly matters to you. This process of self-discovery, cultivated through silence, allows you to release the shackles of fear and doubt, making room for confidence and clarity. The journey of inner silence is not an escape from the world, but a way to reconnect with it more authentically. By learning to listen to your own voice, you begin to make decisions more aligned with who you truly are, not with what others expect of you. This practice of active listening creates a solid foundation for life, where you become the architect of your destiny, guided by the inner wisdom that emerges when the noise fades. So, imagine the power you can unleash by starting to listen to your own soul, free from the constant interference of the outside world. What will you discover about yourself when you silence everything completely? The modern world is undoubtedly a noisy place. We're constantly bombarded with information, expectations, and demands. But amidst all this noise, there's a simple and powerful truth. Your life's purpose cannot be found in chaos. Silence provides the necessary space to reflect on who you truly are and what you want to achieve. When you let go of external noise and others' judgments, you begin to access a depth that once seemed distant. In silence, you find not only answers, but also the foundation to build a life with more meaning and authenticity. Living in silence, however, doesn't mean isolating yourself from the world. It means deliberately choosing moments to listen to your inner voice and reflect on your true passions and values. In an environment full of distractions, finding time for silence may seem challenging, but it's precisely in this space that you begin to see things more clearly. Silence is like a blank canvas, where you can paint your life according to your true vision. By finding this space of stillness, the purpose that seemed so hard to grasp begins to reveal itself, like a gentle light emerging from the shadows. When you connect with silence, you're not just stepping away from the world's noise, but creating a space to reconnect with yourself. And it's in this space that you become capable of discovering what truly matters. Perhaps your purpose isn't something grand or extraordinary in the eyes of the world, but it's undoubtedly profound and meaningful to you. By living in silence, you allow yourself to experience life more fully, free from the external influences that often distort our vision. In the end, silence reveals what has always been within you, a life of meaning and purpose, waiting to be lived. We live in a society where words are often seen as the primary form of communication. We speak constantly, seeking to express our feelings, thoughts, and intentions. However, silence possesses a unique power, often underestimated. Silence is a language in itself, a form of communication that transcends any words. It conveys a depth that cannot be captured by mere phrases. Sometimes in a conversation, what's left unsaid is more powerful than anything spoken. Silence has the power to communicate feelings, intentions, and wisdom in a way that words could never achieve. It carries the strength to say what doesn't need to be said, touching the heart of those who receive it directly. The wisdom in silence lies not only in what it omits, but in the space it creates. Silence offers a moment of reflection, of introspection, that allows the mind to connect with its essence. Amid a whirlwind of words and information, silence presents itself as a refuge where we can access our inner truth. When you practice silence, you're not just stepping away from speech, but opening yourself to a new way of perceiving the world and yourself. Often, the deepest wisdom arises in silence, where the mind slows down and clarity settles in. In a conversation, a simple moment of silence can reveal more about a person than any elaborate speech. Silence also has the power to heal. In moments of pain or suffering, words can be insufficient. What's often sought is the silent presence of another, a wordless embrace, an understanding look. The wisdom of silence lies in its ability to convey support, comfort, and understanding without needing to say a single word. It creates a deep connection between people, far more meaningful than any attempt to fix the situation with words. Silence is the art of truly listening, of being present, and that goes far beyond words. Sometimes the greatest gift you can offer someone is simply your silence, your willingness to be there without rushing to fill the space with empty words. In a world where the speed of communication and the constant exchange of information dominate, it seems counterintuitive to suggest that silence can be a powerful force for success. Yet, silence may be exactly what you need to reach new heights in your career and relationships. In a professional context, silence doesn't mean withdrawing or disengaging. On the contrary, it's the key to developing active listening, enhancing empathy, and improving decision-making. Often, in the workplace, the best ideas don't arise from the rush to speak, but when you have the discipline to listen, to absorb the needs and perspectives of others. This active silence allows you to better understand what's being said and what's left unsaid, which is fundamental for effective communication and building creative solutions. In personal relationships, silence also plays a crucial role. Amid the race for validation and the constant expression of opinions, we often forget to truly listen to others. Silence here is a practice of presence. When you allow yourself to silence not only your words, but also your judgments and expectations, you create a space for the other person to express themselves authentically. This deep listening strengthens bonds, making them more genuine and meaningful. By pausing to listen instead of speaking, you demonstrate respect and understanding, which can be the foundation for healthier, more lasting relationships. Silence, then, becomes a tool for cultivating more authentic connections and relating to others more deeply. In your career, adopting strategic silence can also be a way to stand out. In an environment full of voices competing for attention, being able to use silence wisely can create a unique advantage. In meetings and negotiations, a pause, a moment of silent reflection, is often more impactful than any rushed words. Silence can be a way to demonstrate confidence, patience, and discernment. It conveys that you're not desperate to be heard, but that you deeply value what's being discussed and are taking the time to reflect before responding. The silent revolution, then, is about changing how you position yourself in the world, not just as someone who speaks, but as someone who knows when and how to listen, reflect, and act with wisdom. The modern world is full of distractions, and it's easy to get lost in the hustle of daily life. However, a practice that has been growing in popularity and proving powerful is mindfulness. At the heart of this practice is silence, not just as an absence of sound, but as an active, conscious presence. Mindfulness is the art of being fully present in the moment, without judgment, and silence is the fertile ground where this presence develops. When you practice mindfulness in silence, you begin to notice every detail of your experience, from the softness of your breath to the subtle sounds around you, even the faintest sensations in your body and mind. This state of full attention allows you to connect more deeply with yourself and the world, creating a space of clarity and inner tranquility. True transformation occurs when you manage to integrate the practice of silence and mindfulness into your daily life. By setting aside moments to disconnect from external noise and quiet your mind, you begin to see the world with greater clarity. Distractions that once seemed overwhelming and unbearable become easier to manage. When you dedicate yourself to silence, you're not just seeking a break from the chaos, but creating an opportunity to reconnect with what truly matters. Instead of reacting impulsively to life's challenges, you place yourself in a space where you can observe, reflect, and respond in a more balanced way. This practice brings not only mental calm, but also a greater ability to live with intention, not reactively. Over time, the combination of silence and mindfulness begins to transform how you relate to your emotions, others, and situations that once seemed out of control. Silence becomes a powerful tool for self-understanding and self-discovery. The inner stillness that arises from consistent mindfulness practice allows you to handle stress, anxiety, and external pressures with a greater sense of peace and resilience. And as you become more aware, more present, and more in tune with yourself, the world around you begins to reflect this internal transformation. Silence, far from being an escape, becomes a form of deep, intentional action that has the power to change your world from the inside out. In moments of stress or frustration, we often find ourselves reacting impulsively. Emotions overwhelm us, and words come out unfiltered, often leading to regrets later. However, silence offers a way to break this cycle. By silencing your thoughts and impulses for a moment, you create the space needed for reason to take the place of reaction. This is the power of self-control, the ability to prevent your emotions from defining your actions. Silence is not an escape, but a conscious pause to reflect, breathe, and decide how to respond in the most balanced way possible. Instead of merely reacting to the world, you begin to act according to your own principles and intentions. When you practice silence, you train your mind to not be a slave to emotions, but to be their ally. By pausing and allowing yourself this moment of stillness, you interrupt the cycle of reactivity and begin to engage with the world more reflectively. Self-control, cultivated in silence, is a practice that requires discipline, but the benefits are profound. Instead of giving in to momentary impulses, you begin to act with clarity that comes from introspection. Silence, therefore, is not just a tool for rest, but an active strategy for self-control, enabling you to make more thoughtful and conscious decisions. It helps balance the mind, promoting wiser, less impulsive responses. By applying silence as a tool for self-control, you begin to notice that instead of being someone who reacts automatically, you transform into someone capable of acting with intention and serenity, even in the most challenging situations. The peace that comes from inner silence allows you to maintain balance, even in moments of tension. And it's precisely this control that enables you to face life more resiliently and effectively, with the confidence that your actions are not determined by circumstances, but by the wisdom gained in silence. Self-control, then, is not a denial of emotions, but an invitation to channel them in a healthier, more productive way. In today's world, the idea of success is often tied to constant action, the noise of social media, the fast pace, and the relentless pursuit of quick results. However, this view of success can be illusory. True, lasting success, the kind that comes from deep, genuine fulfillment, is not achieved through constant noise, but through inner stillness. Silence offers a path to discover what truly matters and align our actions with our deepest values. When you learn to silence yourself, you find the clarity needed to make more strategic and effective decisions, free from the pressure of external expectations or the surrounding environment. Seeking silence as an essential component of your journey toward success doesn't mean giving up action but learning to act with purpose. Often, amidst the noise of life, we lose sight of what we truly want. Silence creates the space for you to reconnect with your true self, allowing you to act with more intention and less distraction. True, lasting success doesn't come from a constant quest for external validation, but from an inner peace that allows us to follow our own paths with confidence. When you practice silence, you begin to realize that the key to success lies in the ability to stay true to yourself, act with integrity, and make decisions that resonate with your principles without haste or external pressures. Moreover, silence is a powerful tool for cultivating patience, an essential quality for long-term success. By silencing yourself and practicing inner stillness, you learn to wait for the right moment, make decisions calmly, and resist the temptation of quick, often fleeting, and unsustainable results. Lasting success is not the result of rushed actions, but of a continuous process of alignment between who you are and what you do. And it's in silence, away from distractions, that you find the focus and determination to achieve your goals in a true and lasting way. Stillness, often seen as a mere absence of sound, carries an invisible force capable of transforming our lives in profound and unexpected ways. In moments of challenge and adversity, silence becomes a powerful ally. It offers the space needed to reflect on our experiences, process our emotions, and, most importantly, find the inner strength we often overlook. Silence is not passive. It's a fertile ground where resilience can grow, and it's in silence that we find the ability to rise again, even in the face of the most difficult situations. When we're quiet, without the pressure to act immediately, we have the opportunity to access an inner strength that allows us to overcome obstacles with wisdom and calm. This invisible force lies not in the absence of movement, but in the ability to be resilient amid chaos. In a world that values constant action, silence offers a vital reminder. Power can also be found in the pause. When you give yourself permission to stop and breathe, you create a solid foundation for making more conscious and balanced decisions. Silence is where you can reassess your choices, learn from your failures, and move forward with greater clarity and confidence. It teaches that true strength lies not in resisting what's difficult, but in allowing yourself the opportunity to process and respond in a more centered way. Stillness offers a way to restore our mental and emotional energy. It acts as a recharge for the soul, allowing accumulated fatigue to dissipate and the mind to be renewed. When you make silence a constant practice, you begin to realize that this invisible force doesn't depend on external circumstances, but on your inner state. True strength comes from within, and it's in silence that it reveals itself. By cultivating moments of stillness, you create a foundation of emotional resilience that equips you to handle any challenge life throws your way. Silence is not just a pause, it's a portal to an inexhaustible inner strength. Have you ever stopped to reflect on the power of silence in your life? In a world that constantly demands more from us, stillness reveals itself as the key to true transformation. By learning to silence external and internal distractions, you create the space needed to reconnect with what truly matters: your purpose, your passions, and inner peace. Silence is not an escape, but a powerful practice that allows you to act with more intention, wisdom, and self-control. So the question remains: what are you waiting for to start living in silence? What could you achieve if you set aside the chaos and allowed yourself to hear your own voice with clarity? Now it's your turn. How can you bring more silence and calm into your life? Write in the comments and share what silence is awakening in you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to continue this journey of learning. Remember, Silence is not the absence of something, but the presence of what truly matters. And it's in silence that you'll find the strength to live more fully and meaningfully.